YouTube, first of two deck discussions. I'll do one today and one tomorrow for modern MTG. First up, we'll do Zoo. A little bit of a talk on Zoo. Zoo is, in most formats it's in, whether it's in Legacy, Vintage, or not Vintage, maybe not Vintage, Legacy, Modern, the old extended format. Whenever it appears in Type 2, which is not much these days. It appeared in Type 2 or Standard, whatever you want to call it, back when Ravnica Time Spiral was around, when Dark Confidant, and then further along in Time Spiral block, Tarmogoyf made its first appearance. The deck's going to be really good this format. Just based on its merits, it's the same deck as what it was last time. You can use like a regular sort of Zoo list, which just runs as Dark Confidants and Grim Lavamancers and lots of 1-drops and stuff like that, and pretty much just plays in red, green and white and splashes black for Dark Confidant. Or they can now they can go back to the 5-color, like Zoo, which used to have stuff like Bant Charm and fucking all sorts of crazy shit in it, for spells, or that the most commonly thought of idea is red, green, white, splash black, or just Ruben Zoo, which you probably wouldn't play Dark Confidant in at all. I don't think he'd be very good in that list. I think people, whether they opt for a Baneslayer-like option, or whether they do or they don't, I'm not sure. I don't know how much Path or Dismember will see play. I think Dismember will see a fair bit of play in like a 5-color control sort of deck, so I don't expect it to be around. I expect it just to be, Grim Lavamancers, Stepplinks, Wild Nacatls, Dark Confidant, Grimmy, among other stuff. How does it fare against the other decks in the meta? It fares reasonably well. I think there are some mid-range, top heavy sort of decks like Bant, some version of Bant, even Jund itself could provide some sort of a size problem to those decks. Zoo is really, really quick, and the Punishing Fire Engine can be a little bit slow. But it's not so much, it's just the creatures, the size, like Bloodbraid. Bloodbraid Elf is a 2-for-1. They would run pulses and the lightning bolts, and not too sure about terminates, but the usual suspects. Kitchen Finks, Goyf. You saw most of the choices for the list that Jund had. Shards of Alara block, and then when Worldwake came around, when Worldwake came out, during that season, then it was pretty much at its strongest. Even though when Shards was still around and Worldwake wasn't, they still had Kitchen Finks, and which pretty handy, like anti-aggro sort of card. So I wouldn't, it's just that it's not necessarily how good the deck runs or whether it's inconsistent or not. It's just some size matchups against other decks. Obviously, Jund has a bit of a problem. It has a bit of a problem for fighting Jund. Bant, Suffering's a loss, Alara is still a factor. As much as you probably want to count it out straight away, it's a big swing. If you've got something out and it's a lot fucking plus 11, it's pretty big. I can't remember the exact stats that it gets, but it's an awfully big swing. That's just my basic thoughts on Zoo. I think it'll be a good deck. I think it has a few interesting creature matchups. I suppose things could change a lot, now being that it's a modern format. There's obviously, since the last times it was pretty popular in this format, there's they have access to a lot of cards because of that shitty overextended that was in for a while. They kind of didn't use those cards because they cut it all out. They cut it all the way back to what was it, like Northern Block or some shit. So the influx of those cards that are in now will probably greatly benefit the main deck and sides options that people have for it. But I think it's pretty good. I think, to summarise, that it's going to have a problem with Bant, Jund. I think it should probably be too quick for most combo decks. I really don't see combo decks lasting against it, especially if they're running Goblin Guide. If the new Zoo version starts running Goblin Guide, I mean, they're in a lot of trouble. That and Steplinks is just Boros decks from this standard season on the last standard season gone by have proven time and again, at the start of formats, the red-white, Steplinks, Goblin Guide, the red-white combination is a rather powerful one, so I'd probably, expect at least some lists to play Goblin Guide, if not all of them, so yeah. Plus it just makes the Punishing Fire Engine more playable too, I think, and means you can play Dark Confidant and throw more cards in there, but yep, I think it's going to be a pretty good deck. I'll put a deck list up for it later on in the week, kind of a rough draft, like just a shell, what I'd look at using anyway. That's it for me. Hope you like the video. Feel free to rate, comment or subscribe, and yeah, I'll be back in probably tomorrow with we'll talk a little bit about Jund, and yeah, hope it was helpful. Peace.